Been asked quite a few times how we made our bottle feeder for our goat kits, so today I'm going to show you how I did that. Just use some scrap wood that I had laying around here. These ones are 4 foot long. I got two 2x4s that are 4 foot long. I will sandwich them together on a L looking, and then I will take my pieces of PVC pipe that I got from Home Depot. I didn't have none laying around here. Usually I use what I have laying around. And then I have 3-inch to 1.5 inch. These will go on here like that. And then I will cut this bottom part, this bottom flange off, because the bottle nipples will not stick through there. You can just buy the 3-inch caps. If you have something to drill out the hole, it at least needs to be a 1.5 inch hole for the bottle nipple to stick through far enough. These pieces here are 5 inches long. I figured 5 to 6 inches is about where I want them, because I want my bottles to stick up a little bit out the top so I can grab them out after they're done. Other thing you need is some PVC pipe cleaner and cement, and a old ratchet strap. I use this little 1-inch ratchet straps, and that will run across the top of here, and that will give you something to ratchet strap it to a fence or a wall or something like that. It allows you to be able to move it around. I did find out on our last one I made that's over in the other barn, that one is a little close together, so I redesigned it a little bit to make it so that way it spreads the kids a little bit farther apart. That's why I went with the 4 foot. You can actually go with them closer together, but closer you put them together, more they end up fighting for the bottles as they come through, and then you got to straighten them out. So let's get started at building this. So I have my two 4 foot pieces. I'm going to connect them together. I have some, I think these are 3-inch screws. It don't need to be anything fancy. You want to connect them pretty decent, so I'm going to put about 4 screws in here. Like I said before, these are old 2x4s that I had laying around here. You don't have to use nothing new. You could use whatever kind of wood you have. I just found out with the last one I built, having this so you could take and set it where it leans up and kicks the bottles out a little bit, gives them a little area to come up underneath, and it don't have it flat against the fence, which ends up making it a little harder for them later on. And I have 1.25 inch screws that I'm going to use to attach this. You want to make sure you use a drill bit that's big enough that will allow your screw to go through all the way through, because you will be coming around all the way to the back side of that. Plus you got to have a big enough drill bit that it will accept your drill bit to go all the way through. So I need something that's big enough for this because I have such a long shank on there. I'm going to go through, glue them all first, and then I will take and do my hole in them, because I think that'll be easier. So we want to prime these. I mean, I guess the primer is really not no big deal, because you're not actually using them for nothing that's gonna need to be sealed up. Push them all the way down on there. So now all 5 of them are glued. Close up our glue in the primer. And then we'll go back and drill our holes. We want to make sure like this hole is up here, and then we're going to be just above that bottom part so we can go all the way through here and attach them. All right, now we got all 5 of them drilled out. And then you got to figure out how you want to lay them out across your board. But the first thing you're going to need to do is attach your ratchet strap, because this is how you're going to end up holding this onto the wall. So you want to get this laid out how you want it, and you don't want to leave too much over one end to the other, because if you do, then you won't have enough room to come back. So you want to make sure that you have it shortened up enough where when you go to put it through on the back side, you have enough room to ratchet it back to itself. So I like to leave about 1.5 feet, maybe a foot, 1.5 feet on this far end. So that way I know I have enough room to be able to make it all the way across. We'll come down to the other end here. We'll put in our screw in here. Come down here to the other end, put another screw in here. You don't want to go too fast, because then you'll end up twisting your strap and ripping it and tearing it. And then you might want to put one right in the middle, so that way it has another point of contact. But if you go pretty slow, you end up taking and basically melding a hole through it with the screw. So that way, now I have my strap across. I have a little hanging over on the end. So that way, when I go put this onto a fence, which I'll show you at the end, we'll have enough room to do it. Now, we have this ready to take our pieces here and put them on here. We have to decide on our spacing. I'm going to go on each end, and then one in the middle, and then I will separate halfway between the middle one and the outside. So that's about 8-10 inches in between each one. That gives them a little room, and on top of that, it keeps them far enough away that you can actually move them around while you're getting the bottles to them. So I'm going to find my center. This is a 4-foot board. So find my center here. It's a 4-foot board, so 2 foot. That'll be about where my center one goes. It don't have to be perfect. It's just for the animals. So now we'll lay out our other ones and then just guesstimate on the other 2 in the middle. I did drill these holes so that way I can go all the way through to drill the screw into the back side. If I had a long enough drill bit that would reach all the way through, I would drill me a pilot hole just big enough where I could start this, because this could be a little bit of a pain in the butt to get these started into that PVC pipe. The screws don't usually hold on to the They don't hold on very good to the drill bit either while it's standing up, straight up and down. So then we'll get these attached. And these don't have to be perfectly straight up and down, because all it matters is that they're going to be below the piece of wood, so that way you can get your bottle in here. Put the one in the middle. Or one on the end. Oh, I knew they all couldn't go that easy. So now we'll figure out where the center is between these two, and that's where these other two will go. Figure out where this last one will go. And I could actually go back in here and put some more in the middle if I want to. If I need to make more spots, I could actually come in here, and I think there'd be plenty of room. As you could see, if I put one more here, let's say we decided we wanted to go one in the middle. That's still pretty good distance in between each one. So I could go back through here and we could put more in the middle. So technically we could have 8 total spots, so I could add 3 more. But right now for this one, we're not going to do that. We're going to try to keep them separated a little bit. I probably will go back through and add more later on, which as of right now, I don't really need the extra room. So So now we got all 5 connected. It's almost ready to go. We just got to come back in here and take these ends off here, because if you leave these on, the nipples will not reach down far enough. So you need to cut them off. Like I said before, you could just get the regular caps, put them on there, and drill a hole big enough for it to accept your nipple size. But I like using these because it saves me an extra step, and I don't have to buy a $10 drill bit. It's only going to save me about $3 to $5 between going with these and going with just the regular caps. Now I'm going to just use my Sawzall and cut that end off. Don't have to be perfect, because it's just to get the bottle nipple down below the bottom here where it could stick out for the kids. You don't have to get that perfect. If you want to get it perfect, you can sit there and mess with it for a minute and get it the rest of the way. I think the last one I made, I used the circular saw to cut these off. So now them are cut off. This is ready to go get hung up and used. So now we'll grab this, go get it hung up. So we got the old one hung up out here already. As you can tell, it's a little shorter and it's made a little different than the other one. This one was actually a little bit more of a pain in the butt to figure out, but after I figured it out, got it to work pretty good. I went a little shorter on this here. That way my bottles, I could grab them out of there a little bit easier, but it works just as good as the new one will work. So let's get the new one hung up. Now we got the new one hung up, it's ready to go. So we'll show you a video of them using the new one here shortly. As you can see, they're ready to eat. Hopefully this helped you guys out on how we made our bottle feeder. And thank you for coming along, and see you on the next video.